So the question is, why do some companies lack confidence in their existing strategic plan? And it may be that you don't lack confidence in your strategy, but you recognize that it's been some time since you revisited it, and it's just a little stale, and it needs a refresh. And that's why I developed a brand strategy health check to basically answer a whole series of questions to understand the current perceptions of your brand and your business with your customer groups. But so that's a typical thing. It may also be that they're just coming into a standard, or you're just looking at a standard planning cycle, whether it's a 3, 5, 7, 10-year planning cycle. That tends to be the norm of when people relook at their brand strategy, particularly in the larger organizations, the aristocracies and the bureaucracies. But increasingly, that strategy of strategy, thinking about the process of how you develop strategy, isn't questioned enough, because there is so much change and uncertainty and unpredictability in our world that waiting for a 5-year planning cycle to come around doesn't allow you to be agile enough to move with the times. So you need to balance short-term agility with a long-term vision. And often, again, a 5, 7, or 10-year plan isn't ambitious enough to make the kind of major transformational change or leap that your vision might aspire to. So you need to find that balance of agility in consistent, constant checking of your strategy, constant health checking, with a long-term 20, 30-year perspective is what I found. What are the reasons for potentially questioning your existing strategy? It may be, quite often it's a leadership change or a transition, and it may just be founders who've grown out or selling out or moving out or retiring or changing or have transitioned for whatever reason. And a new leader comes in with different thoughts and different challenges. And there's a degree of always uncertainty and excitement. In some ways, excitement can be positive, or excitement can be negative uncertainty as well. So that's often a time when we get called in to look at strategic positioning. Startups, if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, you'll find often that there's pressure from investors to kind of formalize a more strategic process and be able to articulate a positioning and bring that together in a way that is much more marketable and people can relate to and understand. Often they've had to do an element of that to get to the position where they are to be funded, but it's not taken in with a larger objective kind of lens. It's still done through the eyes of the founder and a small team. So it helps to bring in that objectivity. So, those are the kind of what I would call standard things that come to me and where I find I'm being invited in. Then, of course, there may be problems and issues. There's also, people don't go to the doctor unless there's an issue. And more often than not, this is where the problems kind of come in. And those problems are typically sales or revenue or profit generated. Things are not quite going, and it may not have really hit the wall yet, but they can see that things are turning and not necessarily in the right way. Sales growth may have been slowing. Profitability may be in decline. It may be an internal cultural issue with people of a lack of energy or a lack of unity in larger organizations where divisions are kind of working against each other sometimes, not intentionally perhaps, but not necessarily being aligned or unified behind a key vision.